Welcome everybody to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. As most of you know, 1M1M is a global initiative, a global virtual incubator with the aim of helping 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond by 2020, thereby building $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs. And as I never fail to remind you, our success is entirely depending on your success. You have to be successful entrepreneurs. It's our job to help you become successful entrepreneurs. That is the only way we are going to hit our goal. And that's pretty much what we are working on right now. Today, we are working with two wonderful partners, ANN Media and Elance. And we are doing the fourth of this summer's events where we're running a contest and awarding scholarships. ANN Media and Elance are sponsoring scholarships to the 1M1M program for 1 year. This is the 136th 1M1M Roundtable and the fourth ANN Media contest. For Elance, this is actually more than that. I think the fifth contest because Elance has also worked with us with BlueSnap recently. So we are going to give out up to 8 scholarships today, even though we have 10 presenters. So we're going to, if we really, really like you, there's a very high chance of you winning a scholarship. And we have, screened the applications quite a lot. The roundtable recording will be available. You will be able to share it with people and listen to it later. The Twitter handles of 1M1M are at 1M by 1M and at Sramana. And if you are live tweeting the show, please use the hashtag 1M1M. Okay, so we're going to start today's contest with Dr. Dele Omotosho and Michela Menting. That's the first presenter. If you could unmute your line and come tell us about what you're doing, that would be wonderful.
Okay, I'm just going to step in and, hi. Just want to say a quick introduction. I'm Michaela, and Dr. Omotosho will be doing the presentation. And any financial questions that you have later, feel free to direct them to myself. Dele, over to you.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, fine for us.
Okay, right, so we're talking about aperture. Next slide, please. So aperture is a company that I'm a co-founder, and Michaela is also a co-founder, and it's essentially a mobile advertising network specifically for the healthcare sector. And just a bit of background, I'm a medical doctor in the UK, and my passion is always about improving the health of the public. And over the last few years, I'm sure everyone could agree there's been a massive explosion in the use of smartphones and tablets, and this has led to the proliferation of innovative mobile health applications. And trying to take advantage of this, I looked a little bit more into it, and with research, I realized mobile health applications, and obviously using my experience, have the potential to improve care delivery, and it can also improve the health of the general public as a whole. But the mobile health market, it's still in its early stages and has the potential to explode in the coming years, according to all the current research. It's currently valued at about $2 billion US at the moment. But the problem facing the mobile health applications market is there's very limited exposure for mobile health applications on the current app stores. And there's very poor categorization and reviews for the health applications on the current app stores at the moment. And there's limited monetization opportunities for health app developers due to poor visibility. And I experienced this when I developed a mobile health app for doctors to improve their efficiency. I had a difficult time marketing this to my colleagues and other users. So this kind of led to the concept of developing a advertising platform where we can connect developers and advertisers to provide suitable representation and monetization opportunities for the key stakeholders. So as you can see from the first page, we're going on an ad-based model where we take 30% of advertising money paid to us, while the publisher gets the rest. Next slide, please. So our target customers are essentially health app developers, people who make general medical apps, health apps, fitness and wellness apps, and also health-related organizations such as gyms, health clubs, sports companies, pharmaceuticals, food industry, skincare products, and device manufacturers, and also healthcare-related organizations such as medical and dental schools, hospitals, clinics, and universities. And also the end user in this will be the general public who actually use mobile health apps, and healthcare professionals who use it for their daily work. Move on to the next slide. And health applications can be divided into three main sections. And the first one is the general health applications for essentially just information finding by the general public, health awareness, and the second group will be the medical, specialist medical apps where doctors, nurses, other professionals use for their daily work. And the third group will be general health, fitness, and wellness apps to improve, obviously, like I said, fitness, running, healthy eating habits, weight loss. And like I said, due to the proliferation of different, of the use of smartphones and tablets, a lot of mobile app solutions have been created for these different sectors. And our hope with this network is to be able to connect other key stakeholders in general health, in the medical field, and in the fitness and wellness applications used by the general public as well. So next slide, please. And as part of a strategy to developing this network, we've actually launched a mobile health app review site called aperture.com. And this is where we provide quality health app reviews and recommendations for the general public and healthcare professionals. And on our website, we've actually recently conducted a survey of health app use among over 100 healthcare professionals in the UK. And over 90% of our respondents said there was a need for a dedicated online resource center specifically for mobile health, because currently the app stores, the mobile health section is very poorly defined and there's very limited visibility. There's no kind of, people don't know what they're getting. There's no reviews, quality reviews by experts in the field or different app sections that have been created. So we need a kind of a more formal approach to people using apps, and we think Aperture can certainly offer that. So, and also
I have a question here. Are you proposing to be a vertical ad network for healthcare mobile applications,
yes.
Or are you trying to be a healthcare app store?
No, not as an app store. We're aiming to be a mobile advertising network for health, not an app store, no.
So that doesn't solve the, that's fine, but that doesn't solve the problem. I mean, if you're stating it's a problem, I'm not convinced that it's a problem, by the way, of the app store. I think those are irrelevant. You have to work within the frameworks of the current app stores. However, the vertical ad network is, vertical ad networks is a proven way of building businesses at this point. It's been around. That vertical ad network concept has been around for a while.
Yeah. I guess I wanted to understand, what did you mean by, you said you didn't understand there was a problem with the current app stores at the moment?
Well, you're saying that the app store is not organized and so forth. I think the app store is the app store. It's going to remain the app store the way it is, and it's going to evolve the way the app stores evolve.
I think
you don't have any control over changing that.
No, I think the reason, like I said, from our survey, at the moment there is no dedicated online resource for health applications. The most popular applications out there are the entertainment, the gaming. The mobile health applications market is growing. There's a lot of new mobile health startups coming up in the market. And at the moment, there's no proper representation for them. And like I said, from our survey, over 90% of healthcare professionals said, they don't, people don't know which apps to go for. The apps need to be properly vetted by a professional in a respected specialty, which is what we'll be providing for the public and the healthcare professionals who will be using our service.
Just to pick up on Sramana's question,
yeah.
Why would I use this rather than the health and fitness section of the App Store and just look at the reviews that apps have got there? Or even if I was had an app and wanted to reach my kind of target audience, why would I use this rather than kind of just advertising across optimizing across lots of other apps that are out there? Because clearly you can just use AdMob or whoever it might be to actually just advertise and promote your app. People then go to the App Store, see the reviews, and they can make a decision then whether they think it's for them or not.
I think the reason why we're different from the other apps is because we're specifically focused on health, and the reason behind that is because myself and the links that I have within the healthcare field, people will be able to provide actually quality reviews based on evidence that we have on the market. At the moment, it's very unregulated. Anyone can just develop any app and claim to do X, Y, Z, which is not founded on any sort of evidence or research, which is where we come in, because the reviews that we provide and all the apps that we review with things that colleagues have tested and used, and we'll find it to be either produce results or improve care or improve productivity in the workplace. So, sorry, were you asking me a question?
No, we need to move on. We're kind of spending a lot of time on one presenter right now. So, Dr. Omotosho, if you could speed up and finish your presentation, okay. and we'll have to give Vay the chance to ask the question, and then we'll need to move on.
Yeah. So, like I said, we've talked about the survey we've done already so far, and we're following this. We're actually using the Olympics as a launching base to raise awareness of our profile, because, like I said, we're going to be doing more surveys into the health app use by the general public. So we're going to be interviewing startup developers. We're going to be setting up stands when the Olympics, because Olympics provides like a solid basis to, improving fitness and improving.
I think we've got the idea. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off. Ved, do you have a question?
No, not at this time.
Okay. All right, so the quick summary, I think in terms of validation, the real validation that is needed here is whether advertisers are willing to give you ads, and whether mobile app vendors are willing to place your ads. It's not consumer validation that is needed here. The business that you're proposing to do is not about consumer validation. It is about advertiser validation and mobile app vendor validation.
Yeah, and to get us towards that stage, you need to create a way to engage with potential customers, which will be the app developers and the different related companies within.
All right, we're going to need to move on. Thank you for your pitch. We understand what you're doing. The next presenter is Victor Alexiev. Everybody else, if you would kindly put your lines on mute so that you don't stream external noise into the conference, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Victor, you're on next.
Hello, well, my name is Victor Alexiev, and I'll be presenting Job Matching and Career Development Portal, which is oriented on not on categorical filtering, but uses algorithms to quantify users' data and produce a cardinal scale of how much you match the different jobs in the portal. And this is the minimal viable product. We have the plan to expand the project together with, currently we have built in some community features, but we plan to expand on that and present also career guidance, career development, and employer branding opportunities. What you see here is the team. This is me. My role is mostly decision support, new venture development, and international business. These are my strengths. Ivan, who is the second partner, is dealing mostly with project management and the psychological aspects, since we're introducing also some testing into the platform for better data collection. And Tor, whose expertise is within software development and product development. Next slide, please. So there's some side notes. I don't know if we can stop that, but generally, we are currently talking a lot about the talent economy, and the talent economy is basically talent, skills, and relationships. However, the existing recruitment models are currently failing us quite often because they require on a funnel model, they rely on a funnel model where basically employers spend big bucks to attract many candidates to their doors and then filter them out through a sophisticated process, hence spending a lot of organizational time and also spending a lot of time for the users where they have to fill many applications for each individual company, and basically the result is that there is efficiency loss on both sides. Data is flying around in big quantities, but there is no aggregation of it, and since, as we know, people generally fail to consider more than 7 aspects of any different problem, the result is that not all the available information is generally considered. So this creates about a big 420 billion market opportunity from what we've estimated globally, but of course the rollout is going to be complicated. Could you please? Yeah, thank you. What we identified is that generally right now everybody needs an IT, and the market is transitioning, putting certain industries under stress. So it's not only, the target market is not only software companies which need software developers. We're talking about the music industry, media industry, and etc. So everybody needs an IT. And what we've estimated right now is that about 1.2 billion of the recruitment market right now accounts for specifically software development recruitment. Hence, this is why we've decided to focus our platform on this market, also because we understand it well, because me and Todor, we are also partners together in another entity, which is Obecto, it's a software development company, and we actually rely on resources from Obecto for developing the platform. Next slide, please. Something that I actually missed on the last slide is that the expected compound annual growth rate for the software development market, or at least for the search for software developers, is about 14.5% over the next 5 years. So we expect more growth than even is right now. What you see here is the previous slide, please. What we see here is the initial version of the platform. So this is how a user sees the platform from within, and he sees the job ad and he sees the relative percentage matching based on their profile. And of course, we're fiddling around with the algorithm to improve it, but right now we are getting some good results, and we're already doing some private beta testing with talents and with companies. Next slide, please. So what we want to do is we basically want to target the talent market, match it to profiles of employers, so hence be able to figure out what's the best fit, rank people within each pool, which each of the employer profiles or job profiles we can call a pool, a talent pool, and then rank people based on their match to a certain opportunity offer, or rank the opportunities from the viewpoint of the talents. And then what we do is we, through our platform, allow targeted communication. So it's not necessarily only job ads. It could be employer branding content. It could be training opportunities, courses, and etc. We collect a lot of data that is currently collected in a recruitment process, and we aim to augment this through certain tests that we've developed, which are personality and skill oriented. What we see in terms of opportunity is that the target, as I said, is not only customers that are software development companies, but also companies who have other competencies. And the way that they satisfy their needs right now are through HR agencies, traditional job boards, headhunters, platforms for social recruitment. And what we see is that either they bear a high cost for the clients, or they have a low effectiveness. And effectiveness is in terms of the total time, also organizational time spent to process the applications and figure out and filter out who are actually the better ones. So as I said, this leads to an efficiency loss, which we think we can correct. Next slide, please. What we do is, initially right now we're building partnerships. We build partnerships with Hewlett-Packard, with Alexa, of course, with Playtech. We're negotiating with VMware so that they promote their ads through our platform, but also we can co-brand with them so that we gain trust from the market. We're also doing event promotions, and we're trying to generally build up a network and build up an attraction for members so that we can promote ads, promote events, and get a bigger base of membership so that we can actually offer a value to both sides. On the member side, we're trying social network campaigns. We're trying, from September, we're going to
What happened?
Good.
Keep going, please. You lost for a moment.
These are the basically top competitors on a global level we identified. LinkedIn generally is not working very well for software engineers, and what we found, especially in our market, is that most of the software engineers are not looking at it actively. The biggest threats are Stack Overflow and Dice, but what happens there is that they don't use any personality metrics and scoring or score-based matching. So the matching, or the way that you find the person there, is usually through filters, which is the traditional one. So you end up either with no one or with a big bunch of people, which again you have to process through your organization. So this is why we think we can offer basically a bigger package to the market.
So, my comment actually is primarily on this. There are lots of competitors missing here. There are smaller. You've got the very large ones. And even in the large ones, there are other job boards that are not listed here. But really what you're missing are the smaller niche players that are focusing on IT recruitment. There are such players, and I would encourage you to look them up to do a more thorough competitive analysis. This competitive analysis is not complete by any stretch of imagination.
Absolutely, and I realize that we have indeed looked into some smaller competitors, but of course we wanted to present the big one. It's a fair point. Thank you.
Okay. So, let's let the judges comment or question. Ved, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Victor, a very interesting presentation. Can you elaborate a little bit on your secret sauce in terms of the personality, pooling and ranking that you will be differentiated with?
There is no secret sauce when it comes to the personality test. What we're using is basically a version of the Big Five test. Currently, we're operating more towards perception matching. So what people are looking for and what are they offering on the other end. What we do is basically we collect requirements from the companies, which usually are handled through job descriptions, but job descriptions are very qualitative and hence very vague. So what we do is we have an interview form where we collect very specific information about what are their needs, also in terms of skills and competencies, but also in terms of values. And we collect also similar mirror data from the talents. So this is, of course, the regular CV data and, of course, their ambitions and values. We have, in the previous version, which was basically replaced right now due to the fact that we wanted to simplify the process, we had also a Raven's matrix test, which is basically for analytical and cognitive abilities. And as I said, the Big Five-based personality test, which we are ready to re-implement or bring back into the system right now, but we initially wanted to speed up the kind of attraction process. Hence, we wanted to reduce the effort on the candidate side. So these are going to come in as optional.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Kim.
So.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Okay, just a quick question. So, for example, I went into my mailbox this morning, and every morning, which I don't know if I should be saying this, but luckily it's only Charlie from our organisation on the line. Basically, I got targeted with various jobs for example, innovation or business development, etc. And I'm just wondering how you would be able to compete with something like that, and also the fact that LinkedIn has got so much of my personal data anyway, and therefore they can be a lot more kind of specific in terms of their targeting. I just wondered what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, that's a very nice question, actually. First, software engineers are a different kind of species. We have been developing, people within our company. Vector has about 16 people on employment, and what we see is that they generally don't use the traditional channels. Most of the times, at least the good ones, they don't even have to look for a job. So that's why initially we started developing Full Talent as a community, but then we figured out that the community space is already very well satisfied. So this is why we reversed the strategy a little bit and again refocused on the job aspect. What you do is basically you apply to become a member of Full Talent, even if you're not currently going for a specific opportunity. And every 3 weeks, you might get an email with specially targeted jobs. The idea is that these jobs are targeted based on proximity to your profile, not necessarily based on filters. This is one aspect that we think is currently not very well addressed through the existing solutions out there. Also, the other thing, as I said, a lot of the developers that we know, at least in markets that I had access to, they don't use LinkedIn much. So what we want to do.
I think we've got it. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off, but if we keep going with that much time on each company, we are really not going to be able to finish the whole session on time. So I would request you, all of the presenters, please be more concise in their responses and not keep going for too long. Victor, thank you. We understand what you're doing. It's a viable business. And I strongly encourage you to check out the competitive landscape more carefully. Next presenter, Brian. If you could unmute your line. Victor, please put your line on mute. Thank you very much. Brian, Spare Square. Where's Brian?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
So my name is Brian Petrus of Spare Square. Spare Square is the social low-cost alternative to traditional self-storage. Next slide, please. So Spare Square, the idea was really formed when I moved from the U.S. to London to attend London Business School. And the idea is really simple. Spare Square seeks to build a platform for trusted buyers and sellers of space to contract for the storage of their items. Our platform creates that environment of trust by leveraging existing social networks like Facebook and LinkedIn and reinforcing that trust through customizable contracts and insurance. Essentially, we want to be able to better match those that need space with those that have space. And our targeted market is young professionals and students. Spare Square makes money in 3 different ways. So based off of every single transaction, and we help facilitate that payment, as well as through additional services like customizable contracts, insurance, and delivery, and finally through targeted advertising. The team is made up of myself, who has a background in M&A and technology and product, my partner Lanier, who has a background in social media and marketing, and Carol, who has a background in legal. And behind us, we have a programming team and a senior technical advisor as we further build out the product set. So there are some competitors in this space, but we really see that as just helping to validate this space. And really our main advantages, our secret sauce, if you will, are around three different areas. The first is social. So no other site out there is leveraging existing social networks. And we've actually seen in additional adjacent industries like room sharing or Airbnb, et cetera, that there is real results of using social. It does help facilitate those transactions. Second, mobile. We want to make sure that
the assumption that nobody else is using social is incorrect. Your point that there are lots of other companies that are validating this space is absolutely correct. We have seen these companies in this forum as well. I think my colleagues on the judging panel have as well. And I can't remember. We may even have seen one in one of the contests. But the social aspect is being used by others as well. So please make note of that, though that is not necessarily a differentiator. However, the market is yet to shake out. So any market in the beginning stage has lots of competitors. So your chances of making it happen is as good as anybody else's right now.
Sure. So maybe the point really is no one's doing social as well as they could be. In terms of the market itself in the UK, it's a huge market. It's growing fast, and I think the most interesting point is when you look at the amount of capacity in the US, which really created the traditional self-storage market, versus the UK, there's a huge discrepancy there. So for us, we really see that as a major runway and a chance to really accelerate some of that growth.
And you want to focus on the UK?
We're based in London, and we see a city like London that has such a high cost of living, traditionally very small flats, and a large population that is constantly moving in and out as a prime area to begin.
All right.
And once we finalize that model, we think we can stamp that out to other cities that have some of that same criteria.
Okay, cool.
I think the best part about traditional self-storage is the fact that there really is a lack of customer focus. So everything is fixed in terms of sizes, locations. They have high costs in terms of to the consumer. And pricing is near impossible to either do comparisons or even to get understandable pricing from the large storage companies. So we've gone out and we have tested our idea. So in terms of our trusted buyers, we went out and surveyed London students and young professionals, and 83% of our surveys, of course, responded that they need and that they are willing to pay for extra space. And the most surprising thing is probably the fact that storage is now becoming like a utility in terms of how people are viewing it, and the fact that it is a service that is not just event-based anymore. So it's not just about moving. It's the fact that you know, we're great consumers and love to keep on that pattern. So we eventually run out of space, and storage is becoming a permanent solution.
Okay.
In terms of our trusted sellers, 25% of new home buyers in the UK are under the age of 35, and they are paying a significant down payment, more than any other generation has ever paid before, at least in recent times. And what was even more interesting is of our students, who we think are going to be primarily the buyers of space, even a fifth of them raised their hands that they would also essentially become sellers. So we see a product like this or a service like this really starting to change behavior. Mm-hmm. And finally, just the fact that I'm sure a lot of are already aware of, just the fact that collaborative consumption is having an impact, and it is generating real value.
Yep.
And finally, just a match between our buyers and sellers in terms of willingness to pay. So this is roughly where we see in terms of per month market prices. Again, that's based on kind of a generalized size for the respondents that we talked about.
Okay, cool. Very precise presentation, and yes, the market opportunity is we have seen it, we've spotted the trend. So let's have the judges ask their questions. Kim and Charlie, do you want to go first?
Yeah, no, I think it's. I mean, I guess one of the questions for us is we've seen it's quite a hot area. So I mean, we've seen a couple of other sort of similar things in the UK springing up, and just kind of why you think that, you know, given that it's quite a similar model, you'll be able to kind of outcompete them, to be honest.
So the companies that I've seen in the UK, I think they have the mindset of bringing just a business model, a new business model to an industry. And to me, that's not good enough. I haven't seen any site using social in the UK, specifically.
What about the guy who did Last Minute? Hasn't he gone into this?
I mean, there's a number of competitors. None of them are actually bringing in network data so that you know who's actually potentially in your network of friends or friends of friends, so that you would be much more willing to actually store something with that other party. But I think back to the question is, you know, besides social, I think it really has to offer an end-to-end solution, and that means not just providing a marketplace, but providing services and integrating them in such a way that you know, it's a frictionless transaction. So, you know, you can think about bringing in delivery. So, you know, even e-couriers, et cetera, being able to model in and link in with those other services, I think is really key.
All right.
Okay,
I think what Ed will probably tell you is that one of the most critical pieces of any marketplace is arbitration and some sort of a I'll let Ved ask his questions or comments.
No, I would say strong presentation on the opportunity. I wouldn't underplay the execution challenge. You know, in particular, you know, how you get do you already have, or how are you going to go about getting the product expertise to build this platform, including the social aspects? And I would say also that the execution around acquisition will be very critical. I guess my question is, how are you thinking about getting the product and the social expertise in-house?
Sure. In terms of going to market, I think a number of other companies have helped, you know, shed a little bit of a light in how you can do this effectively. And one of the ways that we're going to initially start is going through the, I guess, kind of advanced university networks, creating basically champions within universities to start to actually build demand. That's worked before. You know, we have a network already in place of successful companies in collaborative consumption that have done that. And so I think there's a real opportunity to, you know, because they're in adjacent markets and non-competitive markets at the moment, I think there's even an opportunity to partnership to really accelerate growth. The social aspect is challenging, but again, we have some talent within the team that has been through kind of the whole, you know, social industry. So that's something that we at least have a base and we're trying to grow.
All right. I think we've got what you're doing, what you're trying to do, and yes, it's competitive. Yes, it's a validated space with lots of execution challenges, but it's an interesting idea for sure. Thank you for your presentation, Brian. We're going to move to Yetunde Murphy, company name Apsi. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Go ahead. Are you there?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, so yeah, before we begin, Appy is an outsourcing app company basically, and the motive derived from the boom of the usage of apps nowadays. Having an app allows a person to connect with a service or company, as we all know. So for a company who doesn't provide an app, or a company that establishes itself without building an app to attract their customers, limits their ability to maximize their consumer base. So it has been proven that the process of creating an app is both difficult, technically advanced, as well as expensive, and this is where Appy comes in.
So are you an app developer? Is that your skill set?
Pardon?
Are you an app developer? Is that your skill set?
No, we're an outsourcing company.
No, I'm asking you personally. Are you an app developer?
No, I'm not. Sorry, no.
I see. Okay, so, go ahead.
So yes, the segmentation analysis, as is established, the product is selling the apps to businesses, in particular startup businesses. Appy's market can be broken into different groups, both the startup and the more established. But in this case, a startup business will probably be looking for a general app, which will contain, general information about their business and any new information that can be updated as well. If they would like to go further, there'll be a customized app for specific needs or a development of specific products that the business is offering. Next slide, please. So the ways in which we intend to market ourselves is through viral marketing, word of mouth, speaking to people, advertising in websites, printing out leaflets.
That you're trying to do outsourcing of app development. It's a very big business. If you go on Elance, you'll probably find a few hundred companies or more that do outsourced application development. So it's not clear to me what is the differentiator on this. Yes, it's a viable business. People are doing it. Lots of people are making lots of money doing outsourced application development, and Ved can tell you probably a lot more about it. But it's not clear to me what is and Elance or the services exchanges don't even feature on your marketing strategy. Are you aware of them?
Yes, I am. But what distinguishes us, or what separates us from our competitors, is that the outsourcing is to students and graduates.
Sorry, outsourcing is what?
The outsourcing is to students or and graduates. So that's one of the ways we're different from our competitors, where we will be slightly inexpensive and we will be more inexpensive than.
I don't think people would care. You should go do a thorough competitive analysis on how you would compete with the developers on Elance, because there are competitors working from Eastern Europe, from India, from the Eastern Asia, and these are very, very inexpensive services.
I understand that.
There are hundreds, if not thousands, of competitors in this space. So I will let actually Ved comment if you would like to.
No, I mean, I think the question is, you can very easily find people to build an app for you. That's in terms of the human resources on sites like Elance. Also, if you are saying that you've got some kind of platform that can generate templated apps, point and click, maybe that's your angle here, in which case there's a heavy technological requirement to build those kinds of applications. So in terms of just outsourcing to teams of people or to another person, your competition really will be sites like Elance, where there are hundreds or thousands, actually, of people who do this. And if it's on the product side, where there are companies like, Capriza, et cetera, we would want to dig into, like, what is your technical capability that allows you to build these apps very quickly or easily?
Yep. Charlie, Kim, any comments?
No, I think that's. I think it's been summed up already. To be honest, I think it's. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a really interesting area if you get it right. So it's potentially really, really exciting. It's just getting that kind of best-in-class product, I guess, in this kind of area, or having access to the best possible resources is just going to be the challenge, as we've said.
So I think competing with 20, 30 competitors in an early market is viable. Competing with thousands of competitors in a mature market is not easy. That would summarize probably why we are okay with the previous presenter, who also presented something very competitive, but it's an early market where there are competitors, but not thousands of competitors.
Okay, thank you. Well, I feel that this company does have the potential to be developed.
Yeah, so you need to develop a competitive positioning angle. That's our recommendation, is you have work to do still to figure out how you're going to position your company on a competitive basis and build something that you can differentiate with, that does have a unique selling point and that can win in the marketplace. So you have work to do. We're not dismissing your idea. The idea obviously is a completely validated idea. There are lots of companies making lots of money based on this business value proposition. So yes, there is market need, there are vendors and so forth. Your real question is, how do you win against them? Okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Right. Tim Armu, you're up next. And
Hi.
Tim, I know you're working in a cafe, so please make sure that you speak loudly and not stream in a lot of external noise. Go on.
All right, then. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but
hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So the company is Doodler. There's my picture. Could you go on to the next slide, please? Hi. So Doodler is basically the company that I thought would be the ideal solution to a problem that I thought was there in the urban clothing marketplace. So there are several vendors now who have their own urban clothing lines, and they're really good. But then because they don't have the money to market themselves, a lot of the people who actually want their designs are actually, unable to actually get the designs. So they have to stick onto things like Facebook and Twitter, which are virtually ineffective when it comes to this. And so the sellers are then left with the high street prices, which frankly are quite, they're quite expensive and they're quite difficult. And so Doodler is essentially a marketplace which matches together urban streetwear designers to sellers with the vision of democratizing the way people fundamentally shop.
So, Tim, let's try to understand this. Marketplace matches designers and manufacturers, or designers and consumers?
This is designers and consumers.
Designers and consumers. So designers are also supposed to manufacture or get it manufactured somehow, and sell their designs to consumers. So
yes.
I guess it's like a 21st century of a market stall where you go and get your T-shirts made, etc., and then try and find the right audience. Yeah.
Yeah. So this next slide, please. Yeah. So in terms of the market research and in terms of the size, the last year or the last couple of years, the urban consumers segment are responsible for about $90 billion US dollars on spending. 1/5 of that goes towards clothing accessories. So there is definitely a huge market out for something like this. And in fact, I was quite surprised when I found out that, there isn't a centralized place where people can actually go and pick between different urban brands, because everybody wants exclusivity. When we think about our ideal customer, as it's written on the PowerPoint, there are people who appreciate exclusivity. They're quite tuned onto the fashion trends. In terms of the sellers, we're thinking of up-and-coming brands perhaps who established, and brands who perhaps they emphasize more on the design than the heavy marketing. Next slide, please. So in terms of revenue streams, so we gain, so there are two main revenue streams. We gain commissions from the sales made in the Doodler marketplace. So, if someone makes a sale, then we take about 15% or 10% commission on that. And then the second thing would be, we have a service called Doodler Mashup, which is where people can actually, mix different clothes that they find on the marketplace. So we also get commission from those ones. Next slide, please. So, in terms of customer acquisition, in terms of marketing and everything else, I think Doodler pretty much markets itself, because if you are a buyer on Doodler and you uploaded some form of design, then you want to share it across your whole social network profile. So we're really leveraging on the idea of being social with clothing as well. So in terms of the buyers, we provide them with a greater variety of items, greater exclusivity. In terms of the sellers, a greater market of customers would generate more sales. It should say more sales, not generate more customers. But it's also an opportunity for greater brand awareness. And essentially, it's a win-win situation, in fact. Next slide, please. Competitive analysis. Obviously, when you think of marketplace, you instantly think of eBay, of the Amazon, and we did look at those. And eBay is getting in trouble a lot with the vendors, because the rules that they have in terms of signing up and everything else, they're proving too restrictive. We looked at other marketplaces, and none of them directly cater for the urban clothing market. And the way we're trying to really sort of democratize the way people shop is something that hasn't been done, and we think it'd be quite cool if someone could do it, which is us. Next slide, please.
So let me comment for a second, Tim, about your competitive analysis. There's one category that you need to look at. They're not direct competitors, but they are within your competitive landscape that you need to pay attention to. There's a whole body of photo merchandise sites like Zazzle, Cafe Press, and so forth that take photographs and turn them into T-shirts. And I think a lot of your doodlers are currently using that to get their ideas into productization, and they actually do the manufacturing as well. They have bodies of consumers are buying from their sites. So that would be a body of competitors that you would need to pay attention to.
That would be quite a fair judgment, because we did look at Zazzle and all those other sites, but we felt as if they didn't really emphasize the idea of community in the same way that Doodler could. I felt as if there was a very clear line between who was the seller and who was the buyer. But with Doodler, we're really trying to harness in terms of community.
Well, and also I think if you really focus on fashion designers who are, who can bring in other levels of creativity and want to handle their own manufacturing, that's a different story, because then it's not the standard T-shirts. There could be other changes, not just in the drawings or the photographs, but also other changes in the design itself, and that's different. That is a differentiating point you could introduce. That would be a different play.
Okay. All right.
I will let Tim
Tim
and Charlie give you some feedback, and also Ved before we move on.
All right. Okay.
Charlie, Kim.
Oh, hi there. Sorry.
Hi.
I don't know. I think it's a really cool idea, actually. And in terms of your competitive analysis and the right level of backing, I don't know. I think it's quite a unique idea. And I'm not actually sure whether the photography stroke those sites where you basically upload a photo or you have the photo printed. I don't think it's quite in the same kind of space.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you agree or?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think it's in the same space. I think when you have things like photography and everything, that is their own space. We're really dealing with things like fashion and clothing, so it's not exactly art per se. It's more clothing. It's more e-commerce rather than art.
Yeah, agreed.
I just have a couple of comments. This is Babe. One is that marketplace businesses, where you have to grow both sides of the coin, the buyers and sellers. Generally, it takes a little while for you to get scale and for it to become valuable. So just be prepared for that. And the second point is that the critical success factor here is you're being able to get the designers and the sellers to come to the site, and that you really have to make sure you focus on getting that merchandise on the site. Without the site is only going to be as good as the merchandise you have on the site. Also, you have to look at Etsy. I think it is another site like where small players can put up whatever they want and be able to sell it. So I'm sure you've looked at that from a competitive point of view.
Etsy is definitely a real competitor for this concept.
I've seen that.
The comment that actually is applicable to a lot of the businesses we are seeing. A lot of you are talking about marketplace businesses, and marketplace businesses do take time to ramp up and get to critical mass. And please do not assume that you're going to get a lot of funding to get marketplace businesses off the ground. You're going to have to bootstrap your way to some level of traction and so forth. Very, very point.
Yeah, I've already got about 30 people to actually commit to actually signing up to the site, and these are actually people who actually sell urban clothing, because once we spelled out the benefits to them, we've already got a fair amount of people to actually sign up to it. We just really need guidance in terms of when it comes to
No, we're not saying that you cannot do it. It's just that we want you to be aware of the fact that it's going to be a bit of time to get to critical mass, and that's the point that is underscoring, and it's a very important point that I want to further underscore for all of you, not just for Tim. Okay, Tim. I think we got what you're doing. Question for Ms. Mitra.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
No philanthropy, please. You build a business. Philanthropy comes much later.
Okay. All right then. Okay. Thank you. Yes.
All right. Erin Lewis, Fashion Forward Maternity.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. I wanted to introduce you to Fashion Forward Maternity, but first I wanted to point out that pretty much everyone on the call has known a pregnant woman recently in their life, and I bet that if you take away complaints about food, the #1 complaint that they have has something to do with their image or with maternity clothes. And that's really what I want to talk to you about today and where we're launching our business. Next page, please. We are an online monthly clothing rental similar to Rent the Runway. Based on a Netflix-type model, we allow women to rent from the top 25 designers in the world $100 to $200 boutique items at a very affordable, flexible rate of $23.50 per month. That then goes down if they are by 10% if they are renting an entire wardrobe from us. These are wardrobes that can change with their growing shape, change with the seasons, change with their needs. And the big selling point for the woman is they get 3 to 4 times the variety that they could otherwise afford. And if they really wanted those beautiful designer jeans from Paige, they could have them without worrying about needing to outgrow them in 3 months. Next page, please. We are up and operational. And to your point, we have bootstrapped our way all the way through launch. We are up and operational and have now been in revenue for 8 months. We've been seeing a 10 to 30% increase in our customers every month, although we do still have small numbers. We are gaining about 40 to 50 customers every month. We already have the relationships with all of the top designers, and we have 3,500 SKUs available to women. Next page. We syndicate and advertise through several different mediums. The first and most important one is word of mouth. Any woman who has ever been through pregnancy, especially while working, knows the pain. And their eyes light up like Christmas when we tell them about this opportunity. We offer a 10% referral bonus for anyone who passes their information to a friend, and their friend also gets a discount to our services. We're converting curious visitors through online chat, and we have a greater than 50% online chat conversion rate. We're also talking to employer discount programs and yoga studios and other affiliates because we know that 67% of women like to shop in locations online that they've heard about or that has been referred to them by a trusted source. Next page. We have been getting customers all over the country, and what's really interesting is that although we are seeing a lot of activity in the city centers, we're also seeing a lot of activity from women who want to feel beautiful and want to have access to these brands, but don't have any stores or boutiques near them. So we're seeing actually a decent amount of activity in rural America. Next page. We have an amazing team. At the helm, you have myself, Erin Lewis. I have actually well over 13 years in shop and product management, supply chain. I was a shop manager for General Electric and did business development overseas on everything from locomotives to fertility products in the medical device field. I have a master's degree in industrial engineering and an MBA from the University of Michigan. We also have Sani Sieper, our CMO, with 15 years in marketing, public relations, and an MBA as well. Judy Skiles-Labers is CFO with 20 years in finance. She's an ex-auditor who doesn't let us make any crazy assumptions in our modeling, and is currently vice president of an $800 million company that she helped grow from a smaller $50 million company just a few years ago. We round out our team with an advisory board with experts in SEO, PR, maternity retail, including not just Natalie No, but actually Judy Mascucci from another major label. We have just recently added John Nordmark from eBags fame to our list of advisors, and I wasn't able to update this slide, but we're very excited to have him as well. Next page. We are more than just a maternity rental store. This is a product and a market and an opportunity with an 80% gross margin, but we can then extend the buying cycle well past maternity into nursing apparel, into everything that a mother is going to need to spend on their baby in the first 3 years. In fact, there's a $20 billion market on everything that these women will have to spend in the next 3 years of their child's life. And we know the due date of when their child was born, and we can target additional businesses, additional advertising and opportunities to this highly coveted segment of the population, the wealthy professional woman with disposable income who's a new mom. This is an amazing opportunity and a point in their lives when they are very, very brand conscious. They are willing to spend the extra money to find a trusted source for their child, and it's very important to them. For instance, in a hospital, if they get Pampers, 90% of those women from the hospital will buy Pampers when they first come home. 90%. We can capture that woman before she ever gets to the hospital and offer her a sample of Huggies. And if she tries that out, she may be a Huggies fan for life after that. Next page. We do have an inventory model at our core, and this is something that concerns a lot of investors, and we are very aware of it. There's a lot of things that we're doing to mitigate the risk in terms of inventory, but it is important to notice that we only need to rent an item for 2 months before we've paid back the clothing, and 4 months before we've paid back all of our costs. And the average product, the average piece of clothing can be rented for upwards of 8 months. Next page. We are a very socially responsible company, and we've already created partnerships with Dress for Success, Goodwill, and Operation Shower with the U.S. military, so that when these clothes look worn, at the time when normally women would be passing them on to a friend, we pass them on as well, but we pass them on to women so that all women can get a leg up in society and go for that big promotion and feel confident about their appearance. Next page. That's our pitch. In a quick summary here, I would very much welcome any comments or questions.
All right, so I have seen this business before at a previous roundtable, so we're going to let Kim, Charlie, and Ved comment. By the way, one of the reasons we shortlisted this company is because ANN Media has a very large penetration into the female demographic, and this is a direct alignment with that demographic. So go ahead, ANN.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that.
ANN Media should have the first shot at commenting on this.
Okay, sure. I guess the question for us really is just around the economics of this. So by definition, you have a sort of customer, sort of your typical customer is going to stay with you for 9 months, maybe less, maybe 7, 8 months, depending on when their kind of need is for this, maybe even less than that. So presumably this is run on relatively thin margins with the monthly fee, and then you have a kind of very definitive endpoint to that subscription. So it's obviously costs a reasonable amount to acquire customers. So I'm kind of struggling to see how this stacks up, the economics of this kind of stack up to make it very attractive. So I don't know if you could just talk a little bit about that in terms of, there's a cost, there's an upfront cost to acquire a customer. You have, say, 7 months revenue out of them, of which it's presumably quite thin. Just how that all works would be good to know.
We actually have very, very good margins. Even as a very, very small company, our gross margins are right around 75 to 80%. Of course, our fixed costs are still high, but we have a lifetime spend with our customers of about $1,800. Our cost of customer acquisition is hovering right around $60, which is right on par with a Netflix or a Rent the Runway, and they've been very, very successful. We do only have,
How do you get to $1,800 then?
$1,800. If you look at the average spend for a woman, she will need anywhere from 15 to 20 items in her wardrobe per month. She's spending $23 per item per month, which averages out to between $200 and $300 per month over the course of 6 months.
So that's what people are spending with you at the moment?
Yes, they are.
Wow.
Now, keep in mind that if they had to buy these clothes, they'd be spending $100 per item. And the average spend for a not pregnant woman or a man, especially in the cities, is approximately $1,000 per year. So spending $1,800 when you have to buy a wardrobe from scratch is not outrageous at all. That really only gets you 20 items if you were in retail. With us, it gets you 60. And they change as your body changes.
I'm a little bit, the only thing with that is that, so for example, I'm pregnant, I'm 3-4 months pregnant, and I'm not, Charlie. Anyway, sorry. You're giving me shock. Okay, it's a scenario. Okay, so I buy one of those kind of wrap dresses or something, so I wouldn't necessarily have to buy another wrap dress or another dress the month after because it's expandable. So as I grow, like there's dresses or tops or whatever, or even those jeans, the stretchy jeans. I don't know whether you'd be buying new items every month. I'm a bit confused on that.
So, well, you're right that you would not be buying 20 items every month. You would certainly buy 20 items over the course of your pregnancy, but if you bought those items, you're wearing the same thing every Monday. You're wearing that same wrap dress for 9 months. You're going to get so sick of that wrap dress, you're going to want to burn it at the end of that pregnancy. What we offer you is 7 different wrap dresses, one every month. They all fit. If you needed to change sizes, you could, but you could change color, you could change sizes, you could change styles, you could change brands. You get variety.
So just how many people have you got on the books at the moment then? How many people are subscribing and paying this $1,800?
Currently we have about 300. We're getting about 50, we're growing at 15 to 30% a month.
Okay, so presumably that makes the business quite profitable?
It's getting very close to profitability.
And can I ask you what your advertising channels are at the moment?
Our advertising channels are in several different directions. We've partnered with a lot of the designers for most of our print advertising in pregnancy and newborn, fit pregnancy. We've worked with The Bump, which is a big online site. We've been getting a lot of press in the mommy blog. And additionally, we have been featured on several morning TV shows in several cities now, with me as a spokesperson for our business, introducing it to the market locally.
All right, I'm gonna have to move us on because I know we have some time issues and we have 4 more businesses to get through. Ved, do you have any last comment or question?
I have a couple of quick comments. I think it's a very impressive presentation and opportunity. Just a couple of comments. One is I wish your website had fewer syllables.
I agree.
We're
looking for new names, but our SEO is doing so well, we're scared to change it.
No, I think you should as soon as possible. And then, you know, don't worry about what you have right now. Look forward. And the second is that you had a slide that said, imagine the possibilities. And what I would say, my suggestion to you is don't imagine it. Just focus on what you have here till it reaches sufficient scale, and then you can imagine how you can extend it out, because it's to make it really work and to really dig deep into it, you're going to have to focus.
Thank you.
All right. Next copy is next, John Hazel.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Right. First up, forgive me, I'm suffering from quite a bad cough, so I do apologize if I have to mute off occasionally if I go into a fit of coughing. Net copy is all about creating new revenue for publishers using an asset that they already have. You can go to the next slide. Quite simply, just about every publisher there is sitting on an archive of content, some of which has been goes back literally hundreds of years. Some of our clients, in fact, go back to the mid-1800s. We've just been working with the Spectator magazine in the UK, whose archive is actually the oldest archive of a continually published weekly magazine in the country. And what we do is that we take this asset, we digitize it, and then using that online, we then attract an enormous amount of incremental traffic to that brand, and we don't stop there, we then generate revenue from that old content. The cheapest content that they have has already been created, and it's sitting in basements doing very little. Next slide. The market is absolutely huge, as you can imagine. I heard a stat, whether it's actually true or not, I can't be completely sure, but I heard a stat that said that only 5% of what's been written is online.
Okay, I'm going to comment before you go on here, John. We actually, in 1M1M, we don't worry too much about top-down market analysis. This is really, it's bottom-up analysis that we care about. And so when you really think about TAM analysis in a serious way, start focusing on bottom-up TAM analysis. So for the moment, that's all we have time for, but pay attention to that.
Okay, yep, that's no problem at all. So far, in terms of client acquisition, we have 30 titles under contract, not all of them published, and they vary from everything from the gramophone through to fishing, through to music titles, and obviously for us, the objective is to spread out into ever larger and not necessarily older, but more popular areas of content. Next slide. Our competitors are actually fairly few, which is surprising. Obviously, there's publishers who believe that they can do this kind of stuff in-house. We have spent an enormous amount of time, money, and not an inconsiderable amount of expertise in developing tools that allow us to be able to offer a turnkey solution to publishers, which means that they really have to do nothing. We turn up with a van, we take away their asset, and we give them their content back in the form of a website that sits as a subdomain to their main site, which is served by an API. So if they want to, they can then bring all of their content into their own site at a future date if they so desire. But nonetheless, there's always an idea from publishers that they can do this kind of stuff in-house. Google Books is out there, and their model is very much about taking content, putting it online, and then running AdSense against it. Nothing wrong with that at all, except they don't index it, which makes it pretty hard to find, which is a fairly fatal flaw in their plan. Now, they could change that, of course, but it seems from everything that we hear, they're moving away from this as an area of priority. And then there are a couple of other businesses, and these are business areas, one of which is ProQuest, and falling also into that is Cengage and various others, who are very much about supplying, what can I say, worthy titles to the institutions, to libraries, to schools, and very much about servicing the high-level research marketplace. But actually, the stuff that they do is in some ways similar to us, but very completely different market, and they do nothing with the consumer at all. And then finally, there's a company called Olive, and there are various others who work within the sort of more the daily press environment. And again, they tend to have developed products that sit solely behind paywalls, that are there to drive subscription and revenue through paywall to the customers of publications that are already brand fans. And we believe that there's a significant flaw in that. Next slide, please. What we actually do, our process is that we scan the content if it needs scanning, or take the PDFs if they're already in digital form. We extract the text through OCR, optical character recognition, which allows us to turn the image into screen-readable text. We detect the layout through software that we have created, and then we add an element of human resource to tag each individual article, so that each article becomes an individual unit of data. People do not browse archives, they're looking for stuff, they want to find specific things, and chronology actually only gets in the way of that. So we have to make sure that we split it all out. We rebuild articles, so we have to take things like this article continues on page 63, which a computer can't understand, and then bring that back into the main body of the article so it can read as one piece. We add to that the natural language, which extracts all kinds of terminology, things like places, names, institutions, and that all sits on the page around the article as well, which not only improves the consumer offer, so that they can flick between different areas of the archive when they're searching stuff, but it also has a dramatic impact on the SEO of the content and how it gets returned through search engines, obviously specifically Google. All of that gets mapped together, so each article gets related one to the other to give ourselves what in effect is an entire map of all the content that's created by that publication. Can we move on to the next slide? You can see an expanded version of that, by the way, at our website at netcopy.co.uk. And this is kind of what I was saying about how it starts to break it down into the lowest common denominator of an article. It drives search results. It makes content easy to find directly from search. So far, we're seeing that around about 75 to 85% of the traffic that comes to an archive is direct from search, and we tend to add somewhere in the region of 50% more unique users to a brand, because these are new people finding the content. They don't search by title, they search by subject matter. In addition to that, obviously this traffic is entirely incremental, and again, what we're seeing across the sites that we've launched so far is that for an archive of reasonable age and reasonable size, we tend to be doubling the traffic that comes to the brand.
What
and as these sites sit,
archive?
Sorry?
What, in your assumption, is an archive of reasonable age?
It really needs to be in excess of about 15 years. Obviously, it depends. If you've got a newspaper, a daily newspaper on broadsheet, which has anywhere up to 10 articles per page, as opposed to a specialist magazine that maybe has one article running over several pages, they are different. It also depends as well on what kind of content it is. Straightforward news is fairly ubiquitous and relatively easy to find elsewhere in a highly competitive marketplace. There's a lot of that content about. If, however, you're talking about, I don't know, fishing or specialist content, Formula One, people's passions, where there's less of that content about, if you launch your archive, you can actually almost overnight become the world's greatest authority online with relationship to that area of content.
Okay, so let me try to summarize if we got this. I think there's people are having difficulty understanding the value proposition. You are going to take newspapers or magazines or publications that have 15-year plus kind of track record or archives that are in paper format, digitize all that, and turn those into a subject-specific digital content and put that back on the brand's websites to attract more traffic and get additional monetization out of that content. Is that correct?
That's pretty much it. If you go to, for instance, if you went to archive.catholicherald.com, you'd see an example of what we've done there. And basically what you see is you see the image of the page so that you can understand the context, and then the article in clear text next to it so you're able to read it clearly rather than reading from PDF. You can, if you want to, browse through an issue, but most people don't. Most people search for something. And an absolute example, just recently, the Advertising Standards Authority in the UK here put out a press release about the most complained about ads. I don't know if anybody picked that up. The first one was Kentucky Fried Chicken with people eating in a sorry, I'm just picking up one of the comments here. It's not page turner, by the way. This is all individual pages. It's all searchable by Google. We now have literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of article pages indexed through Google. And this example that I'm giving you is one where the Guardian actually did a piece on this release from the Standards or Advertising Standards Authority. And the second most complained about was an advert about the Pope wearing a hard hat. And it was advertising the use of condoms. And that particular journalist at The Guardian obviously searched this article. And what they found was that the original article that was written by the Catholic Herald from 1992 placed a link to that on The Guardian's website so that the consumer could go back and see what the Catholic Herald said about it in the first place. And that's the kind of way that it gets used. It gets used for people looking up their ancestry. It gets used by people searching football results. It gets used by anybody who has any interest at all in certain areas like this.
Okay. I think
Does that make more sense? Yep. And I think the most important thing here is, sorry?
What is the business
model? The business model is pretty straightforward. Publishers can either pay for it and retain 100% of the revenue. Software as a service, so there is always a monthly fee for us to host and build and add new features to the websites and to our product. But if they want to, they can reduce the amount of capital they pay. We contribute to that capital, and we take a share of the revenue in order to recoup the capital investment that we make. And I can tell you quite categorically at the moment, from Google AdSense alone, having done a whole load of A/B testing on various content layout, how we deliver that content, the ads, which of course can be extraordinarily well targeted to the content, we're making in excess of £5 per 1,000 page impressions from Google AdSense alone.
Okay. All right, judges, questions?
Must have been good.
Oh, go on. Is that bed?
No.
Oh.
Go ahead, Kim.
Okay, sorry. Actually, this is quite, well, it's obviously very relevant to our titles, but actually we're working on something quite similar. It's been in progress for a little while, but we've got open content source building at the moment, where we're basically turning all of our print articles into like an online kind of format, so that we can build, well, make it all open source, so that we can build content-specific apps. You know, for example, health. It could be on travel, or it could be on, I don't know, property, etc., etc. That's kind of what we're working on. I mean, it's quite a big job, and it will probably be completed within about 6 months or so. But it sounds pretty similar. Am I on the right page here?
Yeah, kind of there. I mean, what we do is that all of the content at article level sits behind an API. So you can actually rebuild the content in any way that you want. So this could be, you could be serving additional content to your current publication through your iPad publisher. You could create, you can sponsor search returns. So Mini might want to sponsor all the search returns for small cars on a motoring magazine or section of the site. You can actually start to use the archive as a massive funnel for catching people who are searching stuff, bringing them to your content, and then redirecting them to your most valuable current content. So it's almost like having this enormous net of highly valuable, long articles, first time published online from trusted sources, that brings people in through search, allows you to monetize them when they come, and then monetize them as you move them through the business.
All right. I think we're going to have to move on. We still have 3 more presenters. So thank you. We've got it, John. I think we're going to move to Artemis Art, Dana Hostage next. John, please go on mute. Dana, please unmute your line and tell us what you're doing. Dana? Hello? What's going on?
We can still hear you here.
Maureen? Okay.
We can hear you, Sramana. I'm not sure about anyone else.
Hello, Tamara?
Yes?
Hi, it's Dana. Sorry about that.
All right. Go on, Dana.
All right. Sorry about that. I was on there, and then it dropped me. So we've actually pitched to you before, and I want to thank you for inviting us back. And we're going to start with Artemis Art. I am Dana Hostage, founder of Artemis Art, and we are a web-based company. And what we do, we launched about in 2007, and we take children's artwork, which 114 million families in the U.S. have boxes and boxes in their basements, and 98% of all parents do save it. And what we do is we take that artwork and we create custom high-quality hardcover books out of the artwork. Currently, most of the parents do absolutely nothing with the artwork because they really don't know. First of all, parents are overwhelmed with just the business of child rearing and the day-to-day activities. And even in the age where you have the online bookmaking companies and Shutterfly and Snapfish, those companies, although they have tried to market to parents for creating children's art books, the reality is that most parents don't know the difference between a JPEG file or a TIFF file, nor do they know the difference, very few of them anyway, the difference between high quality and low quality resolution images, and they don't have the time. And there's a real disconnect between turning children's artwork, unlike photos, into digital files to begin with. So what we do is a cross between digital custom bookmaking online service and the old-fashioned custom bookmaking. And so what we do is we take children's artwork, and we have 3 packages to choose from, and they're all based on the number of pieces of artwork that parents have. And based on very similar to the Netflix concept, where once they purchase one of our packages online, depending on the amount of artwork they have, we send out an art collection box. Next screen, please. You can scroll through a couple of them. So what we do is we send out an art collection box, and the parents will have to place the artwork in the box, and in the box is a return label. Part of the problem why these parents really don't do anything with their artwork is because it's a very overwhelming task. So we try to simplify the process as much as possible. We take the parents can take the artwork, they put it in the plastic bag as you see on the box there in the slide, and return the artwork to us. We take the once we receive the artwork, the parents are notified through each stage via email that the box has arrived safely. And we take each of the images, we scan them, we work each of the images to color correct them and to remove any scan marks or any imperfections on the image, and we post them to a web gallery. So then the customers are informed via email that they can log on to their web gallery that their image is posted. And on their web galleries, they can log on, and a very simple 5-minute process. They can click and drag the images in order. They can choose which image they would like for the cover of the book. They choose the color of the cover. They choose a font, and they give the book a title. And then they have an optional dedication page where they can upload a photo of the child and create a dedication for that child. So the process is very simple for parents. We do all the legwork that is involved with this, and we do it very well. We've streamlined the operation so that it's a quality product at a very reasonable price. We have actually been in business since 2007. We currently have sales from 31 states and international. We have sales from Australia, Europe, Canada, and the Middle East. And we have been privately funded up to this date. We have over the last 2 years progressively grown at a very steady and pleasing rate to enable us to process the production or perfect the production process for us and figure out really what it is our customers want. We're currently in the process of building a new website that will basically eliminate the flaws of our current website and integrate some of the new concepts and needs that our customers have been asking for over the past few years.
We spoke a while ago. What kind of revenues are you doing right now?
I'm reluctant to give actual revenue data only because we do have competitors in the field, and there are only a few competitors in the United States. But I can say that our customer base over the last few years, first of all, they're a very loyal customer base, and we are nearing over 1,000 customers, and these are over the past primarily 3 years.
And do you see repeat buying from that customer base?
I'm sorry?
Do you see repeat buying from the customer base?
We actually have a 100% loyalty rate right now. All of our customers have come back after a year or a year and a half, and we are very pleased about this, which means it tells us that our product is a high-quality product. And
what is the price of a book?
An average price of a book is about $200.
Okay. All right. Judges, questions? Again, we've seen this business before. We invited them in because of the alignment with ANN Media's female demographic channel. So judges, go ahead. Please ask your questions or comments.
Hi there, we've got a question. I was wondering whether you sell any of Artemis art on any group buying sites such as Groupon or Voucher, etc.
We have
seems like quite a good
like the Groupon type sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are actually in a process of with Living Social later this fall So we will be test marketing with Living Social. We also have done one, which is a video-based product, because our product is a little bit, it's new in the concept. No one's doing what we do, and certainly no one does it as well as we do. Parents sometimes have a difficult time understanding what it is we do. I mean, and once they understand what we do, they are absolutely, unequivocally so excited about our product. So we prefer video-based to be able to explain their product a little bit better, but that sale, which was about 3 months ago with Joyous.com, was very successful.
Actually, another group buying site which actually would be perfect for you would be Mumsnet. Have you heard of Mumsnet?
I have not.
Okay, so that's basically like a Groupon but targeted at mums. So something like that would be quite interesting as well for you.
Yes, we have discussed, and we actually have changed and reorganized our packages to be able to accommodate some of the Groupon type sales. As I did tell Samara in our last pitch, that most of our exposure marketing and advertising has been done through public relations, through product reviews, mommy blogs, and articles, some in print, mostly online. And then we continue, and we prefer to continue growing that way. But one of those avenues that we will be seeking is to venture into the Groupon field. It is a hard cost for us as far as shipping is included in all the packages. Well, like I said, hopefully within the next year or two, we'll be entering into that field a lot more than we have in the past.
I made a mistake. It's not Mumsnet. It's Savvy Mummies.
Okay, I think I have heard about Savvy Mommy.
Yeah, my friends actually run that site, so if you wanted me to make you, you know, put you directly in contact with them, more than happy to.
Right now we're not in any, we don't do any type of affiliations, which is, I know some of the sites do that only because it's very difficult to track. Most of our customers our conversion rate does not happen on an instant basis. Most often it's parents think about it and then they come back to our site directly. So it is a little bit difficult for affiliations. Mostly with sites like SavvyMommy.net, which I believe is more of a, it's a mommy blog, is that correct?
Okay, so this is getting a little bit too specific, and we need to take it offline. You can connect with Kim. We'll make sure you get a chance to connect with Kim. She has obviously a lot of valuable feedback for you, Dana.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to accommodate another couple of presenters here. Thank you. Good presentation and interesting concept. Parker Holcomb is next. Research Habits Digital e-highlighter is the product. Parker, please unmute your line, and Dana, please mute your line.
Hello?
Yep, go ahead, Parker.
You got me?
Yep.
All right, great. Thanks for having me back. I'll just dive into it. So as you said, my name is Parker Holcomb, and the company name is Research Habits Digital. The product that we're creating is e-highlighter. And so we're going to start talking about who the consumer is, what the need is. So it's about taking notes. Everyone has a need for it in one place or another, but we're going to start by the student need. So there's plenty of tried and true paper-based note methods, highlights, marginalia, write that up to a note card, write down on a notepad. To aggregate that data, can become a cluttered desk, a long notebook, and it sure is that time-consuming. Next. So ebooks have solved a lot of this problem, and there's some great digital annotation tools out there. They have quick and easy highlights, easily include annotation, automatically preserves all the citation information, don't have to worry about your bibliography, and that's an iBooks screenshot. Next. More ebook benefits. Highlights and notes are automatically uploaded to a format that's chronological, searchable, annotated, categorized, cited, all in one place. And so this is the online review of your Kindle at Amazon.com. Next. So what do you have to do if you want the digital benefits while reading something from paper? To get the benefits, you could write it out to a note card, like I said before, and then to get it searchable, you'd have to type it out to a Word document. This can take 1, 2, 3 minutes to write out your quote, depending on how long it is, another minute, maybe 2 to type it up. 3, 4, 5 minutes per citation, right? Next. So here's our solution. eHighlighter, right now it's for iOS. It brings ebook benefits to paper books and articles through OCR technology. It's the guaranteed fastest way to create those searchable notes while reading something from paper. It takes that 2, 3, 4 minute task and turns it into a 15-second task. And this is perfect for academic research and legal research. Next. So after the product works by taking a picture of that physical paper that you're reading from, allows you to annotate it and manipulate the text in a digital-esque way. And then it creates this review for you. It has your transcribed notes and highlights. It has any notes and tags that you thought of at the time. You can review this in-app. You can also review it at ehighlighter.com. You can put it into your Evernote. You can put it into your Dropbox. You can email it to yourself, to a classmate, to a friend, to a coworker. You can collaborate, like I said, with classmates and with a crowd, and we'll talk about that later. Next. So we're initially targeted towards the U.S. Education market, or the, I guess, English-speaking education. This is a pre-launch product. We're going to be launching for the back-to-school rush in a couple of weeks here. So what we think the U.S. education market is around 37 million. Obviously, you have to discount that by who has an iPhone for this initial launch, but this is our MVP. And while everyone doesn't have a smartphone today, will in a couple of years, right? Not really what we're worried about. A great pivot that we are thinking about for future iterations of this product, once it's a little more polished, is the legal market, where there's 1.3 million legal professionals today. Next. So marketing, what we've been doing, or what I've been doing, I started out, have been going to education technology conferences and really getting involved in that community. And while every app is looking to get reviewed and tweeted and blogged about by TechCrunch or Mashable, which is something that we'll also do, there's also plenty of ed tech specific blogs that are reviewed by people in college information technology departments, people with the title at every college of research associate of digital content, something along those lines. And there's also a very active Twitterverse of these same types of people. The conferences I've been to, EDUCAUSE Learning Initiative, South by Southwest. The other things that we have been working on is strategic partners, importing strategic kind of partner would be someone like Evernote, who we feed into. We leverage their platforms. Oh, I still have you?
Yep, keep going.
Okay, sorry. The Evernote trunk is something they are trying to build out as a platform. Other people are partners like EasyBib. EasyBib has 30 million unique annual student users each year. That's pretty much half of the U.S. education market, and some traffic abroad. And so those are people who are already looking to streamline their research flow with a digital technology. Then there's obviously traditional social media and other mobile marketing platforms, Flurry, App Spaces, in-app results, etc. Next slide. So that's a summary. eHighlighter is the fastest and most convenient way to get chronological, searchable, annotated, categorized, cited, organized notes while reading something from paper.
And the business model?
So the business model going forward is, not a, it's going to be a dynamic one. We're not set on any path. The options are first and foremost being a freemium product. We're going to launch this for free with kind of a tagline of, this is only for a limited time, and start to get that user feedback and see what the traction is. So if we're eventually going to add on more features, we would charge for those features, and we also might just charge for, hey, you used 50 highlights already, now you have to pay $5. And I know we talked about this the last time I spoke, but we're also thinking about leveraging this into a platform to where you're an education or a textbook or a book supplement. Think of it as a Spark Notes or a Crib Notes or whatever is your preference, to where all these people are taking notes and selecting important passages from books, making comments about them. As you start to get that big data and that interesting data, there's obviously going to be overlaps. Think Amazon most popular or Kindle most popular highlights. And so we're thinking about leveraging it into a different platform where you purchase access to those notes. The other option is to take the learning that we have with the highlighter and people who are manipulating books and textbooks and using that information to turn it into a company where we can white label it for publishers. McGraw-Hill, for instance, is very interested in keeping that $120 physical print textbook alive and supplementing it with some sort of digital benefit. So we'll see. It's our MVP right now.
Okay. Judges, questions, comments?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for us, it looks like it's a really interesting idea. But the hard thing, I guess, is to actually see what it would work in reality. I know that Sramana mentioned the sort of monetization. I think that could be a challenge in the sort of medium term. But just to get the usage, I guess it just has to be a really good product. I mean, how accurate is the kind of the OCR and the reading of the text at the moment when you do start to take pictures?
It's pretty great, and I don't know if you'd be willing to click on that link to see a YouTube demo video. But they call OCR the product we're using 99.5% accurate. Now occasionally there are some awkward wrapping issues or a space here or there, but you really can in 15 seconds take the picture, start point, end point, save, and it'll transcribe it.
That's very ubiquitous technology, is it?
Say again?
That piece of it's fairly kind of well spread. It's not your own technology.
No, we are licensing a software for the back end, and as far as if it is a quality issue or we are trying to kind of really tweak that, there are $100,000 SDKs out there that would improve the quality of the results. Also, once you leverage this and have enough back end database, you can verify, or if you have e-text available, you can take that quote, recognize it from that's from this edition, and correct those highlights if you can verify it against the back end. Okay,
yeah, I mean, I know it sounds really interesting. I guess it's just one of those things, isn't it, where the proof of the pudding is just in that real ease of use, and actually to really help people solve that. So we'll check out the demo, as you say.
Great.
All right. Thank you, Parker. The last presenter is Ali Ahmed, founder Lootbox. Parker, please go on mute. Ali, please unmute your line and tell us what you're doing. Ali, you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please keep going.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great opportunity. As you said, my name is Ali Ahmed, and I'm the founder of Lootbox. Could we go on to the next slide, please? All right, why? Why did we decide to start a company? We identified a problem, and the problem was that you can't, in any meaningful way, connect with your friends while shopping online. When you look at how people shop in the real world, they go to the mall with friends, they do a lot of window shopping, and they have that social engagement. While when you look at e-commerce sites, it tends to be a very one-way, almost transactional experience. So how do we want to address this problem? We want to take the entire real-world shopping mall experience and put it online and on your mobile devices. So what does that mean? What is Lootbox? Lootbox is a social shopping mall that lets you group video chat with your family and friends while shopping together for top brands from leading retailers. Our segmentation, we're looking to target women in the age group of 22 to 44. And although the site is available globally, we're concentrating on marketing initially to the UK. since we're based there. Yeah, I've just included a few screenshots of the product we launched at the end of last month. And the way we're building the product is to create a platform. And you know, the problem that I just mentioned, it's currently being addressed by people sharing links with each other over email. They find a product that they like. They're online on a website and they want to get feedback from friends. So they'll try to do a screen share, but they don't know what their friends are looking at. And part of the reason why Pinterest has seen a lot of success is that it allows you to create a collection of fantastic stuff that you found online. And so we want to take it a step further. We want you to not only create a collection of stuff that you found, but also be able to find it directly in one aggregated place and connect with friends while doing it. So we've got about 150 merchants so far. We've got over 1 million products on the platform. And our revenue model is very straightforward. If a user finds a product they like and they click the Buy Now button and purchase that product on the retailer site, we earn a commission. We've already started generating revenues, not a lot, but launched at the end of last month. So hopefully we can really scale it up.
Okay.
Could you go on to the next slide, please? Yeah. I've included a map over here, and I won't get into too much detail. I know that we don't have that much time. But over here, the concept is that the way I've mapped it, I've shown the first generation of internet companies. So you've got social networking, content, communications, e-commerce. And then after a few years, you looked at where the opportunities came up. So you look at social commerce, which took the best bits of social networking and e-commerce, and tried to create a hybrid market. So try to create a niche. Social entertainment is the same, video chat, community shopping. And now we're in the third ring. If you look at the inner ring, we're currently poised at this third ring where social curation and shopping services like Pinterest, Fancy are getting a lot of press coverage. And you've got real-time entertainment sites like Airtime, gamified shopping like Fantasy Shopper. But the one element that combines community shopping with video chat into co-shopping, there's a significant gap in that market. And that's the space that we want to fill. And the little islands in the middle represent the mobile landscape. So we believe that nobody in any meaningful way is addressing the mobile social shopping market, and we want to be the first. All right, so when you look at user acquisition strategies, you know, I've just broken them down into 8 basic strategies. And if you just click next, you'll see the strategies that we're pursuing. So we've done partnerships. We have a partnership with Wahuli, which is a marketing accelerator in the US. And it's a very new and innovative concept where they are connecting us with 5,000 influencers who will promote Lootbox for the next 12 months in exchange for the opportunity to earn equity in the company. We also have a PR agency working with us, and we've run one email campaign when we launched end of last month, and we're just spreading the word through social networking. Okay. We so far have about 500 active users. We've registered about 1,300. They're averaging about 10 sessions per user. 1,500 comments have been made. We've got, like I mentioned, 150 retailers, and so far we've raised a seed round of nearly $500,000. And the big challenges that we face right now is that we're still very early. We've just launched. I believe that we are in a space, based on my previous experience. I was an entrepreneur in residence at Groupon in London. And, you know, this is what I used to do. I used to map out the competitive landscape. I used to look at where the gaps are, where the opportunities lie. And I believe that by focusing on creating a more social and engaging experience, especially on mobiles, but also on online, for shoppers, we'll be able to really, really target a huge opportunity. But how do you raise awareness and break through the clutter? And as you might know, that there are a ton of startups out there trying to create the next social commerce website and break through the clutter, because we do believe we have a unique proposition. But with limited resources, how do we do that? And the second question that I had was, should we pursue the Pinterest-style window shopping model, or would you recommend a more kind of fuller retail setup where it could be a dropship or a full distribution agreement, where it has obviously a lot of cost to it, but it could see us make more revenues?
Right. So I think on your you know, the first question is, we have very systematic ways of doing that. It takes time and everything, but there are ways of doing that. And again, you have good alignment with ANN Media, so I'm going to let Charlie and Kim give you some feedback on that as well. On the second point, I think these are two very, very different businesses. The business that you presented today is not a business that you can necessarily do in the dropship model, because then all these retailers will have to, you have to buy products from the manufacturers who supply to these retailers, the wholesalers who supply to these retailers, which makes you a retailer yourselves. That's a very different business from what you're talking about, and it's a much, much more capital-intensive business. So, so that would be a dramatic shift in what you're trying to do. So I'm going to let the judges comment, especially Kim and Charlie, because of the ANN Media alignment again. Go ahead.
Hi there. Right. Okay. Where do I start? I'm not quite clear on how your proposition differs from other companies such as Fascism in the US. Please, could you explain how your kind of point of difference?
Absolutely, yeah. The way that we set it up, Fascism doesn't allow you to connect with your friends. It doesn't allow you to share real-time communication, or it doesn't allow you to video chat with them. We've built a platform, I mean, our technology is patent pending, that lets you view the same product with your guests. So if I'm the host, I can invite my friend. Yeah, if you could just go back to, Sramana, if you could go back to the product snapshot.
No.
Thank you, yeah. So I can, if I'm viewing a product that I like, with one button I can click, invite my friends, start a video chat session with them, and get them to view the same product at the same time. So while they're viewing the product simultaneously with me, we can have a live discussion around it and get feedback. And then I can slide through the product, the reel. I can show them. I can switch stores while we're still in that conversation and that shared view. So it's more akin to a screen share via Skype rather than Fascism or any of these new social commerce websites.
So it's in the communication and the collaborative selling or collaborative buying that you're differentiating.
Absolutely, and it's not so much collaborative buying. You know, I'm not looking to. I mean, we might look at that as a strategy where we'd allow users to make bulk purchases together to get discounts.
No,
but the idea is
collaboration in terms of the social collaboration.
Socializing, absolutely, absolutely. You're absolutely right. You know, what we realized is that even on Fascism, even on Fancy, on Pinterest, on List, Polyvore, any of these sites, Fantasy Shopper, there's no way that I can really engage with my friends in real time. I can find products, I can, maybe it'll update to their activity feed, they'll see it after 6 hours, they'll see it the next day, maybe they'll comment on it, I'll get a comment 2 days later, and by that time I've already made up my mind and I've already purchased something. We want to create real-time interactions between friends, family and friends, while they're shopping. And like I said, from a lot of research that we've done, we've seen that people are doing it. They get on Skype, they try to do a screen share, or they email links to each other. They send them the Pinterest boards so they can get feedback on it. But that's a very disorganized method of doing it. We want to build that model and make it more convenient for people.
Okay. All right. I think we get what you're trying to do. Kim, do you have any other comments, you or Charlie?
No, I think it's quite an interesting concept. I think the only thing about this is that it's very targeted at your own friends and family, as opposed to, you know, like Fascism and other sites which we're actually looking into, where it's obviously offline, although you can comment. It's not, you know, you haven't got the videoing. It kind of opens up the user base. That's the only.
I can understand. I mean, but if you look at Skype, you know, Skype is sort of a closed platform. Facebook is a closed platform. I've got 150 friends on Facebook. It doesn't necessarily need to be open. That's what I believe. I think that that's a common, you know, perception that people have. And, you know, community shopping sites like Fascism and other sites, they tend to want to create an open model. If you go to Lootbox, you'll see that you won't see any of our retailers, you won't see any of our products. You have to sign up and then enter the website and then be able to connect with your friends while shopping.
Okay. Got it. Got it. We've got the differentiation. Okay, we've finished the formal presentations. Maureen will take over at this point and share with you a video. And we are going to go offline and do the judging. We'll come back and announce the winners in a few minutes. See you soon.
Hi, if everyone could click on the right link in the upper right-hand corner above your slides. I'm going to play a short video while the judges do their thing.
Hi, Maureen. Michaela.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Hey, what do we have to do, sorry?
I don't know, I think they want us to watch a video. If you click on...
Sally has the privilege of this. Everybody should go on mute, please. Everybody on the call, please go on mute for the moment and just hold on while the judges finish the judging, and we'll come back in about 5 to 7 minutes and give you the results. Thank you. All right, folks, the judges are back. We are ready to announce the winners. Maureen, can we get going? Are you done with the video presentation?
Hello, is anybody out there?
Yes, we're all here. We're back. Okay, so back to the winners. The first thing I'm going to tell you guys is that we're going to first talk about the 2 entrepreneurs who we thought had viable businesses, but you're going to need to do a lot more work. You did not win today. However, we're not saying that you do not have viable businesses. Most likely you do have viable businesses, and you're just going to have to keep at it and keep going with it. So those are, AppC is one of them. So Yatunde, we gave you the feedback. You're going to have the recording of the session available to you. You can play it back and listen to the feedback and work on that feedback. And the other one is Haperture. Dr. Omotosho and Michela Menting, you are going to need to really fine-tune that presentation and your strategy further, but I think you do have something in there through which you can build something credible and interesting as well. Now, on the other 8 companies, actually the judges felt that you've all got viable businesses, and the presentations were excellent. Today I think we've had one of the highest quality presentations in one of these contests so far. So I would actually say that we are reasonably comfortable with saying that we can award scholarships to all 8 others in the session today. I mean, if we had 10 scholarships available today, we would have probably given all of you scholarships and helped you work on your businesses within the program, the 2 that we were not able to accommodate. But Brian Pietrus with Spare Square, Tim Armu with Doodler, Erin Lewis with Fashion Forward Maternity, John Hazel with Metcopy, Dana Hostage with Artemis Art, Parker Holcomb with eHighlighter, Ali Ahmed with Lootbox, and Victor Alexiev with Pool Talent. All of you have a lot of work to do, obviously, but you do have viable businesses and you have interesting ideas, and we look forward to working with you. One thing you would need to understand, as I'm going to spend a few minutes going over it right now, is what happens next. Now that you've won this scholarship, what do you need to do? So that's something that I'm going to spend 5 minutes on right now, is to explain to you exactly what 1M1M is all about. And you are going to, basically you are going to be given an orientation video and some orientation material to look at. We have a full curriculum for you to learn all the pieces that you're going to need to bring together. There are lots of moving parts that you're going to need to bring together to really get your business to work properly. So you're going to need to work on our curriculum and get all those pieces together. You have lots of discussion areas, Q&A opportunities to ask questions about that. And we have roundtables like these where we provide you with consulting services based on these WebEx video conferences and members-only private sessions. So please understand how that all works. You're going to schedule time with Maureen to come discuss your questions and strategy issues with me. We will give you lots of coaching and lots of consulting to move forward with your businesses. Where appropriate, we will connect the dots. In some cases, those dots will get connected back to ANN Media when you're ready. Some dots are going to get connected to other players in the ecosystem where you are looking for partnerships, or you're looking for, whether it's channel partnerships, customer relationships, media relationships. We have a huge amount of media relationships, opportunities where we can help you with your go-to-market strategy through our media channels. And also investor connections. Those of you who are going to need to raise money, we're going to help you with that process as well. So that's pretty much what's going to happen. You are going to come into the program. Maureen will give you access to the program shortly. You will receive emails from us with your credentials, login credentials. And please make use of the program. This is obviously a considerable opportunity that ANN Media and Elance is offering you by sponsoring your scholarships into the program. Please make sure you make heavy-duty use of it. And those companies that are making heavy-duty use of the program are getting tremendous value out of it. So, so please do not wait to dive into the program. Now, as far as the free roundtables are concerned, we have upcoming sessions July 26th, August 2nd, August 23rd, and August 30th. Those of you who are looking for, who have not got access to the premium program yet, can also access the free program, which runs pretty much in these kinds of sessions, coaching sessions on an ongoing basis. On your screen are the next few roundtable dates. You can certainly reserve your spot to come discuss your business with me. That's pretty much all we have to offer you today. If you have any questions, please use the public chat to ask your questions, and I'll be happy to answer. Anyone, whether you're a winner of today's scholarships or one of the attendees, participants today, please feel free to use the public chat to ask questions. And congratulations to all the winners. Thank you. While you're asking your questions, I want to tell you a little bit about ANN Media and Elance. ANN Media is part of the DMGT group. I don't know if Kim is still on the line. Kim, are you still on?
Yeah, Charlie is still here.
Okay, great. I knew you had to leave. So, Kim, if you want to talk about ANN Media and DMGT, that would be great.
Before Kim does that, I would also like to echo your thoughts, Sramana, that everyone who presented we thought was really interesting, very high caliber.
Yeah, it was very high caliber. It was one of the best presentation set we've had in this contest series.
Cool.
Kim, do you want to talk about ANN Media, or would you like me to talk about it?
Well, I'll give it a go. It's a difficult one to summarize because, okay, so the parent company is DMGT, so the Daily Mail Group Trust, and ANN Media is the consumer division of that. ANN Media compromises of a lot of on and offline brands such as Mail Online, which is doing increasingly well globally. And then we've got the Daily Mail, Metro, a very small part of the Evening Standard, and then we've got a lot of pure play brands as well. And I suppose our strategy going forward is to, to come up with new ideas to drive revenue for our business. And there's been a real kind of collaborative approach to this, and a lot of senior buy-in as well, which is a great step for us.
All right. So, by the way, DMGT Group is one of is Britain's largest media group, and ANN Media has one of the largest female demographic as part of their Mail Online property in the world today, and several other verticals. ANN Media is quite big. So
it's been really great. Thank you so much to Sramana and all to the participants and Ved as well. It's been a very interesting experience, and thank you all so much for your high levels of energy throughout this competition. Thank you.
Awesome. And final word from Elance. Ved is actually had to drop off after the judging. Elance is also offering you $100 Elance credits to all the winners, and Elance is a services exchange. So a lot of our entrepreneurs are, bootstrapping and with very capital efficient situations, and the use of freelance resources and small outsourcing companies that are offering their services on Elance are extremely helpful in building these companies. So, so please do check out Elance as well. They've also been very generous sponsors of the program and these scholarships. So you will receive all these contacts into the Elance credits, as well as your access to the 1M1M program. You'll receive your credentials shortly. Maureen will be coordinating all of that for you. And thank you everybody for your participation. Let me quickly read what questions are coming up here. I think Tim was asking what are the next steps. You will receive the next steps from Maureen shortly. Rob says, Irina suggested to participate. Good session. I have an app way that can bring uni and new customers to the table. app would be an interactive way to supplement your proposition. Who may you discuss? You can come and pitch at one of the roundtables, Rob, or you can become a member of the program by going to the website and paying with your credit card, and we'll be happy to help you work through your issues. And just to follow up on Tim's question about the next steps, what we recommend you do is study the orientation video and the orientation material about how to use 1M1M, so that which you're going to get in the email very shortly, and start using the program aggressively. That's really our summary of the whole thing, is that if you use your scholarship well, you're going to make tons of progress, because we have lots of evidence of people making great progress using the program as we speak. So good luck, everybody. Congratulations to the winners. It was a wonderful session, great presentations. Thank you to also the audience, and we will see you next week at the regular public roundtable, and you know, we still have 4 more roundtables this summer, so hope to see you in one or the other. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks to the judges, and
bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
And thank you, Maureen, for doing a splendid job pulling off this incredibly complex.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you so much, Maureen. I understand it's not easy pulling everyone together, and so thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.